Yo people, welcome back to the YouTube channel. You already know what time it is. It's time for another video. Conor Gallagher has verbally agreed to go to Atletico Madrid. And we saw this news, I saw this news last night around 3:30 a.m. I think it was. Fabrizio dropped the exclusive. I don't think that man ever sleeps, because what a crazy time to drop it. And I was considering going live, and I thought, no, let me just let this settle. And we'll talk about this in the daytime, because more information is going to come out, of course. And there'll be, I'm sure, extra pieces of information to add to the video. So first of all, I think most of us are happy this is over in terms of the saga, because it was becoming a draining, drawn out situation. It reminded me similar to maybe a Mason Mount situation of last summer, where it's gone on for such a while now, and it's gone on for so many transfer windows, this one in particular, and it was becoming so, I wouldn't say toxic, but it was borderline getting there because of the briefs or the articles and, you know, the last year of the contract, and are you going to leave on a free, and are you not going to let us get some money for you, and all these things. It was starting to get to a point where I'd rather this end. In whatever way it does end, just let it end, right? So Chelsea went with a very aggressive strategy, very aggressive, which was to banish him from the first team potential facilities, the first team training, whilst obviously sticking to their contractual agreement, which is to pay him. And it seems to have worked, because there was a deadline which Atletico Madrid had for Conor Gallagher. And according to many outlets, including Sky Sports, it was minutes or a minute before said deadline at the weekend, he had to respond to Atletico Madrid's proposal and their offer. Now, first of all, I think this is a fantastic move for him. I think it's perfect from a systematic style point of view, manager point of view, who really enhances and values the qualities and traits that Conor Gallagher actually brings to teams that he plays for. So I think you couldn't ask for a better move. You honestly couldn't ask for a better move. It's a Champions League club. It's a top club that have had a couple of titles to their name in last decade. It's a team that are consistently in the round of 16 onwards in the Champions League. And they're a big club, big stadium, big prestige. And I think from a Chelsea standpoint, take the ownership out for a second and say, you come here at 6 years old, we develop you, you get great loans, Charlton, Swansea, West Brom, Palace. You make it to the first team, you get an opportunity, which is something that we have to give credit to Chelsea for. Chelsea as a football club, not necessarily its ownership, because again, he didn't break through under this ownership, but Chelsea as a football club need to get more credit in the wider footballing community for putting common players in their team, because it feels like something that people just assume. We are one of the clubs in the Premier League that promote young players most. Maybe obviously because we have talent, so we should, but we do. So we actually do it, so we should get credit for it. And he's another one that has been given an opportunity, has played a very good, significant amount of matches. He's now being captain, and he's had a banner, song sung for him, and all sorts, that you could say he's leaving with his head held high, and he's leaving having a very good Chelsea career under his name. He's had more than Tomori, really, probably. He's had more than, you know, maybe even Abraham in regards to the banner, and like I said, the appreciation that he's been given from the supporters in the stadium and the captain, you know, element to it. So he's had a good Chelsea career for a Cobham Academy graduate who didn't cost anything and didn't have any sort of pressure of a fee coming in. Now, how he's been treated, we'll get to, and all of those things. But like I said, I just want to start with the preface of he's had a good Chelsea career. Not everybody has to retire here as a Chelsea Cobham Academy graduate. We've had players leave prior, and players will leave after. Not everybody will make it, right? And I think from a quality standpoint, I think he could have been a squad player here. I think he could have been an option off the bench when we need to close a game, but I wouldn't have built the team around him, and I don't think he should have been a player that starts for us consistently. And I always said, if he is starting for us consistently, that is a damning indictment on the money we've spent in midfield, and it's a damning indictment on potentially where the team is in terms of position in the league, because the team needs to be aiming to win leagues. And I believe that he's not a Premier League winning quality midfielder in terms of a start. I think he's more of a rotational player. However, you have to put into perspective the improvements last season, and I think the banishment of the squad, it's worked. So Chelsea live to fight another day, I guess, and obviously they get their money, and we'll talk about where that money is going to go in a minute. But Chelsea have to actually qualify for the Champions League before they can start celebrating selling players to Champions League clubs. It's time to get real. This season, if you are to really win the Conor Gallagher battle as an ownership, you need to qualify for the Champions League. We need to actually qualify with the midfielders and with the players purchased, the Dewsbury Halls. They have got to come in and improve on what Conor Gallagher did last season. If they don't improve on what Conor Gallagher did, and I'm talking more Dewsbury Hall because he's the player that's directly replacing him, not a Kellyman, then the kind of, it was a great move, it was a great idea, you know, we won that battle, it starts to become a little bit of a false image, because you can't keep failing to qualify for Champions League while selling players to Champions League clubs and the math, because your recruitment needs to be not only equal to what we've done previously before this ownership in Champions League qualification, but it needs to be better. It needs to be better. We need to be better in what we used to do, not even let alone equal in it. So there's a lot of pressure on the season. If we finish 6th without Gallagher, I'm not saying it's a direct, you know, consequence of selling him, or it's a direct, you know, comparison, but it's not good. It's not a good look. So, because Atletico Madrid will definitely qualify for the Champions League this season. So, yeah, I just want to know that before I start celebrating exits and celebrating money coming in through the door, is that money going on players that are actually going to improve the starting 11, or is it going on more kids? Is that the recruitment for those players coming in actually improving on the players we're selling? And are we actually moving up the division, up the league? Are we winning trophies? And if we're doing those things, no one will care, because some people are angry now, right? But when Mason Mount left, people were angry. And then Cole Palmer came through the door. And nobody cares anymore that Mason Mount obviously left, because Cole Palmer's come in and he's taken the hearts of the fans and he's put down the output, put down the performances. And we've clearly very much improved on Mason Mount, in my opinion. If someone improves on Conor Gallagher, same situation. We move. Who cares? But if we don't, that's where the issue lies, because now you are playing with intangibles and you're losing on the football pitch. So what are we gaining? If you're going to be a ruthless institution, if you're going to be a club that has no mercy, has no heart, and just moves viciously, violently, you've got to back that up with trophies, because otherwise, what are we doing? We're just doing Russian roulette without the Russian. We're just doing, you know, flipping a coin almost, and we're never guessing the right side of it. So for me, it's a good move for him. It's not a disaster for us in regards to, you know, player quality, because I don't think he's irreplaceable. It seems like Samu, the striker, is the player that we potentially will be going to Atletico Madrid to purchase. The striker, obviously we are looking at a striker. We know that, Osimhen and all that talk. But as I said to you guys on a previous video, I'm still not confident in the Osimhen deal, because there has been no reason to believe that we're going to pay the wages that Osimhen wants. If we're signing Samu from Atletico, the striker, I don't want to butcher his last name today. I'll choose a different day for that if we actually get him. And we're spending 50 million euros on him, which is reportedly round about the fee potentially we might pay. Is he good enough to come in and help us gain more points on the board? Is he good enough to come in and dislodge a Jackson or move a Jackson to a left wing, or even be better than a Gue? I don't know. I wasn't watching him extensively last season, but it's another young player, a lot of development probably to do, and it's another potential gamble. Does he fit the system? Does he fit the philosophy? Does he fit the style? That will be down to Maresca and the directors to discuss. However, it's another signing where we don't necessarily always know with this one. It's not a sure thing. It's not a, you can see it 100% visibly and say, banger. So again, if that's where you choose to put the money from this sale, better work. Better make sense in terms of the points in the Premier League, better make sense in terms of the goal return from said player, said striker. We better improve. If we don't, then there's nothing to celebrate. There's nothing to celebrate anyway, but there's nothing to write home about. Wheeling and dealing and flipping and frying is not the end goal. The end goal is to win the Premier League. The end goal is to win the Champions League. And this is why I have even more appreciation as every day goes by for our recent Champions League win, because we are getting further away from said Champions League win again, and it just goes to show how difficult it is to do and how long it may take to get back to that point. So let's see. Gallagher's gone. Saga's done. Thank goodness for it, because I was getting bored of the back and forth and the briefings and the reports and the inaccuracies or all the accuracies, we don't know. The twist was getting, the truth was getting twisted slightly, right? Also, Fofana, in other news, is looking like he could be sold with a loan and obligation to buy. Leicester City are interested. Other clubs are interested. This is Datra Fofana, of course, not Wesley. Again, we'll see what the fee is on that obligation. If it's a profit, people will obviously call that good business, and well done to us for being able to bring someone in for 10 and ship him for 15. Don't think it's going to be any more than 15. I'd be surprised. I don't think he's mashed enough work at Burnley to demand more than 15 million in terms of a transfer fee. 5 million in the pocket, great stuff. Is it really? I mean, again, it's not something that I don't write these figures down on a list and tick them off and say profit, profit, profit. It's about Premier League titles. So yeah, that's another bit of news. We'll see how much money we rake in from that deal. We haven't really seen much of him in a Chelsea shirt, but I'm not surprised. And I think I may have said on an All You Can Eat Chelsea, or one of the, piece of content we've done here, I see that as a profit player. That's a player that, and I have to keep saying this, guys. When these players come in, they are mostly profit players. Kellyman's, Washington's, Fofana's. Like, there is no route to the first team for them, because the double, triple, quadruple stacking means that there cannot be any route. It's not even the best will make it, or the fight will be fierce, and whoever wins takes the prize of the position of Chelsea. Because you can't even sit here and say that Datra Fofana has been given the development plan, the path, the opportunity to actually fight for a Chelsea striker spot, or prove on consistent loans like Gallagher had at Charlton and West Brom and Palace and Swansea. You can't say that we've given him that guidance and given him that time to get a real opportunity to make it at Chelsea. How many more players will that be the story? Probably a lot of them. So yeah, I can't even sit here and say he's not good enough because we've not seen him, but he's going already. So it is what it is. Don't gain any emotional attachment to anyone, and I'm sure you'll be fine. But yeah, Gallagher's gone. We'll see where the money goes, and I'm sure it will be hopefully on a forward. I don't think we need any more midfielders. If we're allowing Andre Santos to go on loan whilst trying to sell Gallagher, then we must know that our midfield is already airtight. So we'll see. And yeah, let me know how you feel about the exit of Conor Gallagher. Let me know how you feel about the fee, because I think it is 40 million euros, 34 million pounds. It's not the most amount of money, but I think we've kind of compensated with the fact that he's going abroad and he's not going to an English rival, which is, I think that's fair enough. I can understand that logic. Didn't want to see him playing for Villa and Tottenham necessarily and banging in a goal against us at the Bridge. So he goes to Atletico, and I think that's a good move for everybody. And I'm glad that this is not going to drag out, and it's not going to get toxic for him next season if he's in the under 23s, etc. It could have happened. He did hold the cards, but in the end, the pressure took over, and he has decided to bounce and to go. So I guess it worked. The pressure worked. So yeah, smash up the likes, guys. Make sure you subscribe. Let me know what you think in the comments. See you guys next time. In a bit, people. Peace.